So just so you know, the class is being recorded for YouTube. So if you have questions, somebody at the end, we try to hold questions to the end, and then Rodney will bring the microphone around so that it can be heard on YouTube. Okay. Um, so I like to hear about what everybody, what they do in their business, so that if I have specific recommendations for depending on what you do. So let's start right here.
Hi, my name is Eliane Greyer. I'm with Airport Edge LLC. It's an airport planning business. I'm WB certified and waiting for DBE to come through.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Barbara Davis. Name of my company is Premise Pros, and I do restorations.
Okay.
Way to go.
Together. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Ebony Caldwell. My company is Stratosphere Healthcare Solutions. We do medical coding. We also can do medical billing. I found out about this class through you at a workshop through WBDC at the Federal Reserve, so thank you very much.
Okay.
And I'm certified via web link or WENC
Yes.
link. Yeah, so
Do you have a city certification?
that's pending.
Did you submitted it though?
I did.
Okay. Where are you from?
I used to work in the city, but now I work for another small business.
Okay. Okay. I know, y'all. It's like your face looks so familiar. Okay. So the most important thing I can say is once you get certified is to market your business. And you have to use the certification. Use the certification when you market your business. So basically, you want to make sure that all your advertisements or everything that you hand out has that you are MBE certified. Market yourself, network. We have 2 large events every year. We've already had our construction summit in February. Was it February or January? February, we had the construction summit. And then we have a vendor fair every May that's at UIC Forum. And so that has all the agencies attend, all our sister agencies and other agencies that have contract opportunities. So we always recommend that people attend that. And also to make sure you find out who else is having events, because most of the time they let everybody know what type of contracts are coming out and what's available for you to bid on. So basically when I tell people that they should come out to these events, your goal is to have a face-to-face meeting. Because when you get to that table, there's so many people at those events, you don't have time to tell about yourself. They don't have time to tell you about every contract that's coming out, but you want to have a face-to-face meeting. So if you get a business card, your goal is to get their business card so that you can call them, email them to see if you can come in to talk to them. So if you're coming in to talk to them, the best thing you want to do, and everybody should have the PowerPoint now. A copy, he's going to give you one. A copy of the PowerPoint, because everything that's on here, and that's why I put like little notes on the side so that you can put notes on the side so that you remember once you leave here that you remember. So I cannot tell you how many times I've been to an event and I'm there to speak and somebody gives me a business card that I cannot tell what they do. So if it just says Smith & Company, but I can't tell what they do, and I'm not even having contracts, but what do you think happens with those business cards? Yes, they go in the garbage. So if it's an agency that has contracts, you don't want that to happen to your business card, that it goes in the garbage. So I always tell people to have a good business card. The business card should say what you do. It should have your email address. It should have your phone number and whoever the contact person should be for your company. Another thing that I don't see enough when I go out is a capability statement. Most people have a business card, but the more prepared companies have a capability statement. If you don't know what a capability statement is, you can Google it. That's what those pictures are. It's different styles. But a capability statement is telling people what you do, how you do it, what you've done in the past. I tell people if you have pictures of what you've done, put pictures on it. If you can go to Staples or Office Depot and have it printed out, put it on good paper so that, put it in color so that people want to keep it. It's not something that somebody's going to throw away. And a lot of bigger companies, they even make it like a book. It's, especially if you do construction and you built something and you have pictures of jobs that you've worked on, it's good to have those pictures so that you can put that in the capability statement. You can create one on your own, or Office Depot will help you create one. But I've found that when I go out to events, the companies that are well put together have a capability statement. And then when you get that face-to-face, the capability statement is what you're going to hand that person to prove to them what you do and how you do it. A business card doesn't tell much. So when you get a face-to-face, it's good to have a capability statement. And like I said, if you just Google capability statement, they'll come up. All kind of different examples of capability statements will come up. So utilize all of your resources. And Department of Procurement Services is a wealth of resources. So is everybody signed up for DPS alerts? So hopefully you get our alerts. If you don't, you can go to our website. At the top of the page, there's a link to sign up. Basically, you put your email address in, and we send you every Monday, we send you a bid opportunity list. So the bid opportunity list is everything that's actually on the street and available to bid on right now. It will have the list of workshops that are going on for that week. It'll tell you all of our events that are going on. And we also share what other events that our sister agencies are holding as well. So I highly recommend that you sign up for DPS alerts so that comes straight to your email. We have over 15 different workshops that you can attend, and the buy-in plan. So our buy-in plan, and I think it's on the table, is a 12-month forecast of all the bids that are planning on coming out with the city, but not just with the city, with CTA, with Chicago Park District, Public Building Commission. I think it's 10 different agencies. And we gather all that information so that you can know what possibly will be coming out that you could bid on. So how do you use that? We call that our Bible, because that will let you know what information or what bids that are coming out that you should be looking for. Okay, so there's another class of how to navigate the DPS website. But the secret to finding out what's coming out is to look for the contract that's already out. So everything with the city is transparent. So if you do landscaping and you see that a contract for landscaping is coming out in 3 months, you go to our website and it says at the top of the page, there's a link that says awarded contracts. So you want to find the last contract for landscapes. And then what are you going to do? You're going to read what they bid, when that contract is ending, how much they got paid, so that when you're ready to put your bid together, you have an idea of what your bid should be close to. If it came out 5 years ago, of course you know that you're going to bid a little higher, but you don't want to be so far out of the park, but that contract helps you. Or you can find out if you can collaborate with that company. If it's somebody who already has the contract, you can be calling them to find out, is there anything you can do a sub work for them? Or is it any way you can collaborate with them? And this is in any industry. So if you don't know who has the contract, but you know the industry, all you have to do is type in landscaping, type in painting, type in graphic design. Whatever it is you do, you type in that word to find out, do we already have a contract in the system? And that's all available to you. So that's why I always tell people, you check the buy-in plan, highlight stuff in there. We give a date of when it's supposed to come out, but it might change. It could be pushed back depending on the city department or the agency that is doing the bid. It could change, but then that means that's why you have to be on the DPS alert list so that you can be looking for that bid to come out. So utilizing all your resources, the Department of Procurement Services definitely uses communication and outreach. So the buy-in plan, the DPS alerts, the workshops, We have a small business center upstairs on the 8th floor. So we collaborate. We have a person sitting in business affairs and consumer protection to help people with their certification. But we always recommend that people use business affairs and consumer protection as well, because you have to keep your licenses up to date. They'll tell you which license you need to have. If you're looking for a location, I cannot tell you how important it is to stop in business affairs and consumer protection first before you sign a lease. So we had an example of a company who signed a lease to have a car wash. And he signed the lease and then found out that he could not have that much water pressure in the area that he leased. So he couldn't even put the car wash there because of a city rule about the water. So you can imagine how much water you need to have for a car wash. But he didn't check with business affairs before he signed the lease. So I don't know if he got out the lease or not. But that's something like if you're selling liquor, you shouldn't be near school. You shouldn't be near daycare. So there are rules around that. So business affairs and consumer protection helps you with site selection, licenses, and for you all who are certified, once you're ready to do your no-change affidavit, if you have questions or if you're new and you're about to do your certification, you can check in business affairs. The lady in there is Stephanie Edmond, and she's on appointment only, but you can make an appointment to see Stephanie, and she is there to help you with your certification. No-change affidavit, but you have to be certified, and then you do a no-change affidavit every year. Okay. 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 So, and that's the other thing. Hopefully, anybody, the ones who have already been certified, you have to do a no-change affidavit every year. It's free, but then you have to recertify after every 5 years, and you pay the $250 again. So we send a reminder for your no-change affidavit because we're asking you to submit the no-change affidavit at least 60 days ahead. So once you get certified, your letter will have your dates that your no-change affidavit is due. We will not send you another letter, so you're supposed to keep up with your dates. But the system will send you an email saying, hey, your date for your no-change affidavit is coming up, or to tell you that the date for your recertification is coming up. Everything is live streamed now. So right now I'm live streamed on YouTube, but then after this, it is saved on our YouTube page, so you can always go back. If there's a workshop that you're interested in, you can go back and see workshops that have been recorded and saved there. And this room is the bid and bond room, so if you didn't know, most of the time when a bid comes out, this is the room where you pick up the bid information. So it's usually on a CD. What I tell people, another thing that's on our website is a bid takeout list. So if you go to our page, and off the top of my head, but you can search bid takeout list. It'll give you a list of everyone who took out that bid. Why is that important to you? So I'm going to use construction as an example. If you're a construction company and you're thinking about bidding on something, you want to know, one, who is your competition? Or two, who is it that you could possibly collaborate with? So if there is a bid for construction, you want to see so every time you pick up a bid, we take your business card and we let the companies know that this is transparent. We're going to put your information on our website. When we put the information on there, it has the company name, the owner's name, the phone number, and I think an email. So I always tell people, if it's a $10 million contract and you know you can't handle $10 million, you can collaborate, and maybe you can find out if you can do something smaller on that job, because just because you can't do $10 million doesn't mean that you can't do $500,000 or $10,000, depending on how you talk to that person that's possibly going to bid or win the contract, because primes always have to have for city contracts, they have to have a sub. And that's why you get certified, so that you can be a sub. Another thing with construction, there's usually a pre-bid meeting. Try to attend the pre-bid meetings, especially if you're a new company, because a pre-bid meeting has an employee from the Department of Procurement Services who's handling that contract. When they come to the pre-bid meeting, that's your opportunity to ask questions before you actually bid. So say you picked up the bid and there's some questions in there that you didn't understand, you can come to the pre-bid meeting and ask your question. Also, there might be somebody else in the room who has a question that you didn't even think about. So we always recommend that you attend the pre-bid meetings because you might learn something that you didn't know, you know, before you put in the bid. That's also a time that you pass out your business card and your capability statement, because the people in that room might have other opportunities or a chance for you to get a face-to-face meeting. Okay? And that all happens in this room. So usually the pre-bids are in this room. If it's a large bid, it might be upstairs on the 11th floor. So that's why I said utilize all the resources on the DPS website. It's a wealth of information. That's also a class that I think Rodney teaches. I used to teach it. So in that, on the website, it says most recent news, what we do, supporting information, city data, and rules and regs. So, well, I'll say this. On the most recent news, it's usually news releases about our department. If there's a news release or a press release about something that our commissioner is doing or something that the mayor is doing, those press releases are on our website. Supporting information is usually any type of schedules that you might need, documents, forms and documents that you might need to do procurement with us. City data, almost every city department has the city data, and that's the portal. So in the portal, you can find lots of information. It doesn't just give you information about procurement services. But if you ever have time, you should just go to the city data, because they have crime information, they have information about schools, everything that you might have a question about is in the city data portal. For Department of Procurement Services, we put, I handled a portal for veteran-owned businesses. And if you don't know, now the city of Chicago is doing veteran certification. So you can do MBE, WBE, and VBE if you're a veteran. So that's under city data. And there are rules and regulations. So there are lots of rules and regulations, and we try to keep that up to date. So if the rules and regs for certification are updated, it's in that site. So under what we do, because we do quite a bit, we have auctions for the city of Chicago for surplus equipment and materials. So there are over 20 city departments. Anything that goes into surplus, we auction it off. So you can go to that website to see what the city of Chicago is auctioning, and it is like an eBay type thing. You actually have to put in your bid. Contract administration, so once you are on a contract, all the information you need to know about your contract is in the contract administration along with the forms and documents. Debarred firms and individuals. So if you ever get debarred, which means the city has taken your certification away, we do list it on our website, because we have to be mindful, other agencies have to be mindful not to contract with people who have been debarred. None of you will ever be debarred, right? Right. Yes. No, you will never be debarred, because that means you've done something wrong. Diversity credit, capacity building, small business programs. I'm going to talk about that. Those are ordinances. The events and outreaches are on that page. How you register for this class is on there. The MBE, WBE program, I'm assuming all of you are already familiar with that, because you filled out the application for certification. So we used to do hard copy applications, but now everything is online. So we used to have all the documents up under that link, but now it's basically information. The rules and regs, I definitely recommend you read the rules and regs before you start an application. And there's a different, regs are different for construction and non-construction. Procurement Reform Task Force, that's a meeting that, a group of agencies that meet to try to make sure all of our procurement is working together. So we have sister agencies, and that's the committee that works together to make sure procurement is running smoothly at all the agencies. Rules and regs and ordinances, and then e-procurement. I'm going to talk about e-procurement a little further on. Oh, there it is. Okay. So e-procurement is sort of new, and we're rolling it out slowly. But what is e-procurement? E-procurement is advancement to business, to government that applies digital technology to the acquisition of goods and services. The portal for vendors, iSupplier, will be a full-service resource for vendors. So basically, we're going paperless. That's basically what e-procurement is. It's not just for vendors. It's for all of the city departments. It's for the people who work in procurement. Everything is going paperless. So we're still in the process of rolling that out. You'll be able to respond to bids, RFPs, and RFQs online. You can view and track payments and invoices online, electronic submission of invoices. So all of that is going on in e-procurement, but it's like we're rolling it out slowly. So I'm not sure how much they've rolled out to the public yet. It's more, right now it's inside for all the city departments. So this one I cannot stress enough. If you are trying to be on any contract, you have to read the instructions carefully. So we understand that government solicitations for bids, proposals, and qualifications contain a lot of information and may have mandatory forms to complete. However, non-responsive bids must be rejected. Rejected bids increase the cost of work to the city and may result in your firm not getting a contract. So some of the smaller things or things that people might not think about is making sure your telephone number and your email address of the procurement staff. Oh, wait, I got ahead of myself. You have to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. If you have something calculated wrong, it could throw your bid out. So one thing wrong on a bid and you can be eliminated from even being considered. So that's why I said read the instructions carefully. If you have more than one person who can read it before you submit it, do that. Because any little, a little detail could kick you out of the running for something. So the telephone number and email address of the procurement staff assigned to your solicitation is listed in the bid opportunity list. So when you get, when you sign up for DPS alerts, and I think the bid opportunity list is out there, there's a name next to it. That's a person that's actually in our office that you can contact if you have questions. They will answer your question if they can. If it doesn't give you an advantage to everybody else, they will answer your question. They won't give you too much information and make it that you have more information than everybody else that's on the street. So you can contact that person if you need to ask questions. Make sure you know when the solicitation is due. The date and time is important. When you come in here to drop off a solicitation, if it's a minute past 11 o'clock, if that's what they said, they will not take it. So you wasted all your time trying to fill out those papers and get everything down here and make your copies. It's 11:01. They will not. The ladies in there will not take it. So you have to be mindful. If you're a person who you know is late all the time, put an hour before that just to make sure you get down here on time. Missing information can disqualify your bid. A missing signature, a math error, or the failure to complete all documents can be cause for a rejected bid. So the program, the department has a lot of programs and incentives to help people be able to bid and get an advantage to bid. I'm not going to read all of these. I think, I'm not sure if Rodney put the ordinances on the table. Do we have that handout? Okay, so on the one pager, we have a small business initiative ordinance. And you can read it since it's in your PowerPoint. It's designed to increase the opportunities that small businesses have to bid on contracts. And that goes back to, like I said, some bids might be worth $10 million, and you're a small company, but you can't bid. So we have some contracts that are geared specifically towards smaller businesses, and they try to keep them at a lower dollar amount so that you can handle a bid. This one is this one says for projects that cost of $3 million or less. The Diversity Credit Program, a vendor that utilizes city-certified MBEs and WE firms on private sector contracts may receive credit for that utilization towards participation goals on a city contract. So I'm going to use as an example Walsh Construction. We know they're a big construction company in the city of Chicago. They do city work, they do private work. But if Walsh decides to use somebody in this room, because you all are MBE/WBE certified, on a private job, that gives them an opportunity to get credit when they are ready to bid on a city job. So that means you have to network with them. They have to know who you are to be willing to use you on a private job. So that's where networking comes in and making sure people know who you are. Project area residents, contracts that have a value of $100,000 or more, the total hours worked by persons on the site of construction project by employees of the contractor and or subcontractor shall be formed by at least 50% by residents of that area. So that's construction, and that's to give people in different areas the opportunity to get jobs. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. So if you see somebody doing construction and it's a city job, they should be hiring people from that neighborhood. Alternatively powered vehicles, if you have alternatively powered vehicles, you can get credit when you bid, but you have to have 10 or more owned, operated, leased, or controlled by a business. You have to have at least 10 vehicles. The mentor protege program, if you know of a company that's doing the same thing you do and they've been in the business longer, you have to establish that mentor protege. We don't do that, but if you do graphic design and you found a bigger graphic design company that's willing to mentor you, you let us know. There's paperwork in our office that you have to have filled out, and then it has to be approved. But then that mentor has to be willing to use their protege on another job, and then they get credit for that. Phased graduation for MBE/WBE firms. So this is for you if you are certified and you get, what is it? What's the number? These are my certification officers too over here. Regents and Emmets, they are actually, they do audits too. Is it 32 million? So if you get over to 32 million, 38 million. So when you guys get at 38 million, we're going to throw you out. Slowly. So now when you get to 38 million, you don't get kicked out the program right away. But who doesn't want to be at 38 million? All of you want to be at 38 million, right? Well, the funny part, we get people who get to 38 million and they are mad because they have to get taken out of the program. So now we slowly take you out the program. So if you're at 38 million, you only get 75% credit for your certification. Then you get 50, and then you get 25. But you would be surprised how many people, especially in the construction industry, they do not want to be thrown out the program once they get to 38 million. I just want to get to 38 million. That's all I got to say, you know. But you'd be surprised. So now that's why our commissioner was listening, and she decided to do a phased graduation so that you're not kicked out right away. And then if your income goes down, you basically go right back in the program, because if your income goes down, then we would count that as being below the 38 million. Well, you graduated, so no, you wouldn't even be reapplying. We would be recalculating. Yeah. So I always tell people, do not stop with the city of Chicago when you are looking for contracts. All of these are our sister agencies: Chicago Public Schools, Cook County, Chicago Park District, Public Building Commission, Chicago Housing Authority, City Colleges, Metropolitan Pier Exhibition Authority, which is McCormick Place, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. All of these agencies accept our certification. Our certification is reciprocal with Cook County, so you do not have to go get Cook County certification. Just like we have DPS alerts, all these agencies have their own alerts. So I always recommend that people go to their websites and you also get on their alerts, because they have their own contracts. Their contracts are listed in the buying plan, but if you want to know the date that the contract is coming out, you have to get alerts from these agencies. So that's why I put the phone number, but I'll tell you a secret that if you do a www.chicagopublicschools/procurement, if you put /procurement behind any of these names, their contract page comes up. So if you're doing a search, you always put /procurement behind it, and you can find their procurement page. I also tell people, don't forget about hospitals, don't forget about colleges, not just the city colleges, but private colleges. DeVry, University of Chicago, all these people buy things, and all of them have diversity programs. But you have to go to their website, to their procurement page, to find out what they have, and you have to learn their process. So the city of Chicago has 15 or 16 workshops, but our process might not be the same as Chicago Public Schools. Our process might not be the same as University of Chicago or DeVry or all these colleges in the suburbs. They buy things. They buy toilet paper. They buy paper. They buy pens. They buy graphic design. Everything that you all do in here, they probably purchase it. But you have to know their processes. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to check their websites. You have to get on their alerts. Utilize assist agencies. So the city of Chicago, we have a list of assist agencies that have about 20 agencies, Rodney. I think we have about 20 assist agencies, but an assist agency is basically almost like a chamber of commerce. There's usually one in every neighborhood. We have an assist agency list on our website. Basically, a chamber of commerce is giving you help. So we do recommend that you try to, if you think you know what you're doing and you don't need. Oh, okay. So Rodney said the buy-in plan has the list of assist agencies. Some are better than others. You have to decide which one you want to try. They usually want you to become a member. Membership can cost you. But when I say some are better than others, I really mean that, because you go to their website, check their website. Some of them are having meetings with different agencies to help you get contracts. Some of them are doing meetings to help you get startup money. Some of them have big events every year to get you in the room so that you can also get in front of people who have contracts. They do one-on-one trainings, so it depends on if you want the help. The assist agencies are out there. We do keep them abreast of everything that's going on in procurement. So usually if you call a good one, they'll be able to tell you what procurement is doing and how we're doing it. We try to keep them trained on C2. C2 is the program that you all use to do the application. So if you ever need help, you can go to an assist agency or you can come down here to the Small Business Center. And they usually are at our events as well. So the other thing is that we are all on social media. DPS is on social media, Facebook, Twitter. What else we got, Rodney? Other than Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. So, and like I said, we post all of our bid advertisements, the addendum. So if a bid goes out but something changes, the addendum is on Facebook. It'll usually, if you already put in if you already took a bid, you'll get the addendum directly to your email, because you have to make sure that if you got an addendum, you have to add that to that bid before you submit it. So if you don't see the addendum and you don't put it in the bid, then you're basically already out of the running for that. We give out the upcoming workshops. So basically it's about staying abreast of everything and using your own marketing skills for Facebook, Twitter. I'm going to admit I am not a Twitter person. I don't know anything about it. But it seems like that's the way you have to go nowadays to get the word out about what you do. BACP has a whole class on social media. I probably need a Twitter class because I don't know anything about it. Facebook is a little easier, but that helps to put a Facebook page together, have a group or something to make sure that you're sending out your information on a regular basis. I highly recommend it, and if you don't know anything about it, they have a class in BACP for that. So, questions? Questions? Well, he wants to bring you the microphone.
So when you talked about the capability statement, is there a difference between that and the value proposition statement?
Not really, but you know, your value proposition is basically who you are
Right.
and why somebody wants to hire you. So you can put that on the capability statement.
Okay, it's not a separate thing from the capability.
It's not a separate thing, but it's something that could be added to the capability statement. What do you do again?
Medical coding.
Medical coding. So, if you've already done medical coding, your capability statement could put who you've already worked for.
Right.
Or if you had to have credentials for medical coding, you could put that on the capability statement that I took this, I'm certified in this, I took this training. For any industry, if you did training for anything that you do, you should put that on your capability statement.
Right.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I read something where it said something about the value proposition, so I just wanted to know, was that something separate from the capability statement? Not so much what goes on the capability statement.
It's different.
It's separate, okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's different, but it's something that you can add to the capability statement.
Okay.
To say why you would be valuable to, why somebody should hire you, basically.
Okay.
What's your value?
And then my other question is about the DPS alert. So I did sign up for that, and I'm getting everything. Is there a way to filter that
No.
specific to my industry?
No.
No. Okay.
We've tried that, but it didn't. It's not, you can't filter right. I know when I was doing it, I couldn't filter. You're going to get everything. But we only send it out maybe twice a week. At the most, it comes out twice a week. It's always going to come out on Monday at the end of the day with the bid alerts. But, yeah, you're going to get everything. Because the bid opportunity list has everything. So it's not just construction. It's not just medical billing or landscaping. It's everything that's out at one time.
Thank you.
I didn't get, I asked everybody before we started, what do they do? So what do you do?
Oh, I own an electric sign company. I'm the only full-service sign company on the list with City of Chicago and Cook County. I'm the only one. So just got that in June. So, and I do have a question.
Okay.
If you want me to hold that thing. Okay. Okay, so I'm a WBE
That's
with
to you too.
with the City of Chicago and Cook County, and I'm being told I need to get a DBE. So because I registered with Cook County, should I go through Cook County, or does it matter since you're reciprocal?
So Cook County doesn't do DBE, but
Oh.
you really should not have had to do DBE with the county. MBE or WBE, your WBE. You should not have had to do WBE with the county and the city.
I just did it with the county, and it's reciprocal now.
Oh, okay, you
Right.
did it with the county, okay.
So,
So DBE is only done here with the city,
okay,
Metra, CTA, and IDOT. So if you want the DBE, you would have to come to the city side. But the DBE is federal contracts. So I don't know if anybody else is DBE already or is thinking about DBE. So the only difference is DBE is federal contracts, M&W is local contracts. So if you were trying to do something at the airport or with
Yeah.
the train,
Yeah.
CTA or something,
Hospitals.
transportation, then they usually want the D.
yeah, okay. So-
ACDBE is the airport. If you want it to be a concession at the airport, then you need ACDBE.
So
if
the
you want-
tollway wants me to do it too.
Then tollway, then you need.
Tollway,
DBE.
hospitals, and
Yep.
what else did you say? Okay.
So basically, all the documents that you have from the county, you're gonna need for that DBE certification with the city, but the county does not do DBE.
And is it easier? Because it's all, I mean, is it easier to get certified since I already have the paperwork
It
in
should
and you're
be.
now
I'm
reciprocal?
not gonna promise, it should be,
Okay,
because hopefully you still have all those documents together.
yeah,
Yeah, so, and I always recommend, I try to tell people, keep everything scanned. So, if,
Yeah.
whatever business you have, your tax returns, your licenses, everything, you should scan it. Not just for us, even though we need it scanned because you need to upload it, but that's just good business practice to keep all your documents scanned, because then when somebody asks you for something, you know you have it on a flash drive. You know, you don't want to have to go to a box and look through every single page. You should be saving it with a name that you can find it. I tell people to try to certify early. It's easier to certify in your first year than in your 25th year, because we're going to ask you about equity contribution. And if you started 25 years ago, you might not have that check from when you first put a deposit in the bank from 25 years ago. If you just started a year ago, you should know what that is. You should have a copy of it. You should have a copy of your bank statements, scan everything. But so hopefully, because you already have everything from when you did it with the county, it'll be easy for you to just upload everything. It's almost the same questions. It might be a few different questions, but it should be pretty much the same. But I tell people when I go out to try to keep everything scanned. So if you did your when you do your 2017 taxes, scan it, keep everything together so that, you know, you're not searching for stuff. And when you're a new business, if you don't have something, it's easier to say, I just started 6 months ago. I just started a year ago, so I don't have it. Don't leave any question blank, and I guess this would be more for you because I think everybody else is already certified, is that you're just going to put on a sheet of paper, I don't have it because I just started 6 months ago. I don't have business taxes because I just started, all I have is my personal taxes. If you don't have employees, tell us you don't have employees. And I'm getting into another class right now, but because some of you haven't already done it, and it's easier when you just started because you might not have it. And it's okay not to have it. But if you need to have a resume, make sure your resume tells us everything that you've done that has to do with the codes that you are asking for. Okay? And I probably shouldn't even say this, but if you were a nurse and then all of a sudden you selling lights, you need to show us what you know about lights or how you are selling lights and who's your manufacturer and where you're buying the lights. I don't care if you got an award as a nurse, because that's not going to help you get the code for lights. And some people might be like, well, I was a nurse for 20 years. That's great, but that's not going to help you get a code for lights, okay? Just like nowadays when you're looking for a job, it might frustrate you, and I know it does, when people are looking for a job. You have to change your resume for almost every job that you apply for. Yeah. So you got to think about that now when you're doing certification. That resume needs to support whatever codes that you're trying to get from us. Okay.
And I have another question about that. So 10 years ago is when I first put in my application, because all the sign companies in the Chicago area were being inundated with needing a WE, MBE, something. Mm-hmm. So all of these years, there hasn't been one. I'm the first one, and now none of those companies know that I exist. So now my problem is, these are national sign companies that need a local installer. So when I go on the database and I put installer, sign installer, I get everything to try to find, you know, just because I'm looking for me, okay, as a person who might be looking for me. So I'm really frustrated because here we had this inundation 10 years ago of needing it. So now it's probably just tossed out, or they're just used to the fact that there isn't one.
So you're trying to figure out how to find.
Yeah, how do I make it so these, I mean, aside from me going to the sign conventions and letting them all know, and actually all the sign companies that are the bigger ones in the Chicago area, I've been telling them, and they're thrilled. You know, they're so excited, but it's like, I finally have it and they don't know.
Face-to-face meetings then.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing, but in the meantime, I'm supposed to run the business. So really, it's hard. So I just didn't know if you had another idea.
I don't, other than trying to get the face-to-face. I don't know if you have help, but and like I said, with the social media, and if you're actually attending conferences of other people who do what you do,
right?
It sounds like you're doing everything right. It's just probably time-consuming to get the information out. But I would, yeah, but she's trying to work with bigger companies who need the sub.
And they used to need us really, really badly, and now they just probably don't even look anymore.
Well, now that you're on the county database, you'll show up in there. So you're in our database and the county.
But that's what I was saying about the database. If I look up sign to look for me, design and all this other stuff comes up because sign installer doesn't come up. You can't get a specific sign installer, answer.
Right.
And I would be the only one that popped up.
Yeah. So have you, well, I'm going to say this too. Have you checked with Women in Business Development Center?
Yeah, they're the ones who helped me put the application together
Okay,
for
'cause
Cook County.
they're pretty good with getting the word out about different women-owned businesses to bigger companies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They are.
Okay,
So you might want to check with them.
okay.
They
Yeah,
have-
'cause I go to their workshops all the time.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lady there named Frida Curry.
yeah, I know
You know
Frida.
Frida? So she
Yeah,
can help
Frida
you.
helped me, but I haven't talked to her about this, so thank you.
Yeah, I would talk to her
Okay.
about that, especially with you being a WBE and how to
Yeah.
make sure people know about the fact that you're certified.
I had a similar issue when I was certified for my WBE, what was in the directory, what was initially in the directory didn't necessarily describe my
What you
core
do.
business, and I think Regents actually helped me with just changing the description in the directory. So maybe she could have it changed to sign installer instead of whatever it is now, I don't know.
The thing is, I'm 5 different areas. So I'm an installer, I'm licensed, I'm an electrical contractor, so I'm licensed with electrical, so I can pull permits, I can remove the sign, I can maintain the sign, I can service the sign. So there's all these different areas, and I don't know how if there's anyone who knows how I can make sure it's in, maybe it needs to be in 5 different ways, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, since you got certified with the county, and I haven't seen your company, I don't know what it is in the directory. Have you seen it in the directory?
Yeah, it's there.
So then you could,
Artisan signs and lighting.
okay, so then you might want to talk to them to say, how's it listed? And then if you are a part of, have you been certified with Women in Business Development Center?
Yeah.
So they can list you. They have a directory as well. And you might want to find out how you're listed in their directory. And they have so many contacts with bigger companies. They could probably tell you how to get your name out as a certified WBE in the industry that you're in. They're really good at that. Did you have another question? Okay,
You
keep
add
passing.
code after the fact.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you, what do you do? Because I didn't get a chance to ask you.
I'm a licensed architect.
License architect. So he wants to know, how do you add code? So that we call that an expansion. So once you get certified, if you decide you want more codes, you can do that. You go into the system in C2, apply for certification. Are you already certified? Yes. And then the next thing it will ask you is what you want to do. So you want to do an expansion. So
It's the same website that I
Uh-huh.
certified with.
Yes. So what I tell people is, a good example is, say you're a painter and you want to add drywall. So you want to go in and say that you want to add the code for drywall. I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you're already a painter, you need to find the next code for drywall. But then you submit it, but you have to submit documents to prove that you can do whatever it is that you're trying to expand to. So if you're already certified, you're going to submit an expansion. You're going to tell us which codes you want, and then you're going to submit the documents to support it. So then we would still need your resume. If you've already done drywall work, we want to know what contracts you have or invoices you have to prove that you've done it. Or if you took a class, did you do a training? So those are all things to support the fact that you want these new codes. You can always get new codes. I'm frustrated right now because I got a vendor who just got certified in December, and now 2 months later they're asking for like 5 new codes. They could have did it in December, but I guess they just thought about the fact that they want to add more codes. So long as they submit the information to support the codes that they're requesting, we just do, we check to see if you can back it up, and it's added to your letter.
Is there a cost to that
No.
as well? As long as the initial cost is in, we can add as many codes as we want after that.
Yes.
We just gotta fill out the paper.
Yep.
Okay.
You have to submit, what's important is that you submit documentation to back the fact that you can do the codes that you're requesting.
And you guys will determine whether that's,
Yes, I mean, it should be straightforward. Hopefully, it should either be on your resume,
I can put
Training.
anything on my resume.
training, education, and the most important thing we ask for is contracts and invoices saying that you've done the work.
Contracts, invoice.
Right. I did have a company that were brand new. They didn't have any contracts. They didn't have any invoices. But all they were asking for was management consulting. But this person had 20 years of management. So, yeah, they would qualify even though they don't have the contracts and the invoices. But their resume is showing that they've been doing management consulting.
And if you wanted to get into another area, you were saying training, classes.
Yes.
You'll accept that as far as,
Yes.
and then it's up to us to find out what the training is, whatever
Most
it
definitely.
is, to prove to you that that's what we know how to do now.
Yes. I had a company that asked for an expansion. They did one construction type of work. They were asking for other type of construction work, and they had not one contract in the other type of construction they wanted to do. They had no training to prove it, but they had finally received a contract. I checked that contract. I checked with the prime, and they were doing it. So you have to know we do, in our office, we do our due diligence. We are checking, if you have a prime, we can call the prime. If you have a website, we might check your website. So. Any other questions? No questions? Well, I hope this helped. I do recommend, the class I would 100% recommend is the How to Navigate the DPS website, because there are so many links on our website, or if you just have time to go on that website on your own. Also, like I said, if you are a veteran and you want to add the veteran, that's considered an expansion, because the veteran certification just came out not too long ago. So if you're already certified and you want to be a veteran, or you are a veteran, I think it's a DD 214. What's the DD 214 for veteran? So you have to have a DD 214 to say that you were honorably discharged from whatever military you were in. So that's brand new to the city of Chicago. County has veteran. We just added veteran. So if you ever have procurement questions, you can call the number 744-4900. I think it's you hit 2 to get certification. So if there are no other questions, thank you guys. Hopefully it's not cold outside yet. The next class for how to navigate the DPS website is April 11th. So that's quarterly. Who you at now? For who? Oh, Barfield? Okay. Wait, who is that? Yeah. I know Abraham.
I'm like, oh.
Wait, were you at BNCP? Why you leave? Law story, okay. Huh? Oh. Okay, yeah, I know a lot of people over there. And Dorian, who works for